So one of my favorite things to talk about when it comes to eczema and healing are herbs. So herbs are tissue-specific medicines that come from nature that talk to our cells. Basically, they have the essences that correspond to specific cellular repair mechanisms in each of our organs, tissues, glands that help to repair them. So they work synergetically with our bodies by providing that essence that the cells need to self-repair. And herbs come from different places. They have different essence to them. So some can be toning, some detoxifying, some strengthening, and some can be cooling, some can be hotter. So depending on what our bodies need, herbs are there to provide that substance. So a lot of pharmaceuticals are actually constructed from herbal extracts. They magnify their performance. They add a lot of different chemicals and different agents that try to mimic that natural power of healing. But a lot of times they also add compounds that are very detrimental to our bodies and our kidney function and our detoxification mechanisms. So that's why we should look to nature, not the pharma, to give us the answers. And to me, herbs are an essential part of any healing process. So having said that, let's get into my favorite herbs for healing eczema for good. So these herbs are not only great for the skin itself, but they're also there to help strengthen the elimination pathways of our bodies and also the endocrine and nervous systems. So let's look into the top 3, and I have a little bonus for you as a 4th one. So my first favorite herb for eczema healing is calendula. Calendula is known as a panacea for skin healing. So calendula extracts are used in a variety of different creams, skin products, because of its anti-inflammatory properties. So not only do I like to use calendula topically in form of a cream, a natural cream, but I like to take it as a tea. So when you take herbs internally, your body can use it more widely. It can repair itself from inside out. So it is more effective when you treat things internally as opposed to externally, meaning when you see symptoms on the skin, but the symptoms actually come from inflammation that happens internally. So that's the number 1 aspect of healing eczema. You have to take care of that internal root problem. And then of course the symptoms and the management aspect is important, and that comes secondary. But first we have to use everything we have in our arsenal of healing to take care of that inflammation. And calendula is one of those herbs that does that really well. I recommend it both internally as a tea and also as a cream. So you can make your own calendula cream by combining shea butter and an extract of calendula. You can actually make an infusion from a tea of calendula and then combine that with a shea butter. So my second favorite herb is stinging nettle. So stinging nettle is full of minerals that your body desperately needs when you have eczema. Minerals are alkaline, and when you have eczema, your body is more acidic. So when you bring those minerals in, your body is going to then start alkalizing and lowering all that inflammation. So nettle is one of those mineral-rich, highly astringent herbs, and it's not only wonderful for the skin, it's actually great for allergies, which is part of this eczema enigma. We have allergies, but where do those allergies come from? Of course, a stagnant lymphatic system is at its core. So if you have allergies, it means that your lymphatic system or your elimination channels are not performing to their highest extent. So we have to support them. And the best way to do that is with nettle. What nettle does is it lowers the allergic response and it helps your body calm that inflammation naturally. And when it comes to skin, it is wonderful because it has those minerals, and those minerals help the connective tissues of the skin. So basically the body doesn't have to use the calcium from the skin and leach that calcium to alkalize, to lower that inflammation, but it can now use it from the nettle itself. So it helps to make your skin, your nails, your hair more vital. And that's what the minerals are there for. They help to elevate the function of our connective tissues. Nettle is also a blood and lymph cleanser. So it cleanses your blood and it moves your lymphatic system. Another interesting fact about nettle is that it's one of the best kidney herbs found in nature. And it isn't as strong as some other kidney herbs. So I like it for kids. I like it for seniors. I like it for people who are sensitive to herbs because it's a gentle but powerful antioxidant, elimination channel strengthener, so kidney helper, and it eliminates everything from the blood and lymph that your body doesn't want. So waste remover, eliminator, and strengthener. So nettle is one of my favorite herbs when it comes to healing eczema. And the way that I like to consume it is I make an infusion, a strong infusion in the morning, and then I drink that tea throughout the day. So my third favorite herb is juniper berries. Why juniper berries? Well, because they are incredible for both the kidneys and the adrenal glands. So if you have eczema, the adrenal glands are a big component to why. They handle the stress response. So if you're constantly stressed, you're activating your adrenal glands. And what they have to do is they have to pump more cortisol and other anti-inflammatory agents to keep that internal inflammation down. So what we have to do in terms of, when we think of herbs, is to go back and strengthen these adrenals and in turn also help the kidneys, because the adrenals are the glands that help kidneys work better. They are basically governors of the kidneys. They have different functions, but they work together. So the adrenals help the kidneys filter, whereas the kidneys, if they're healthy, they keep the adrenals working and creating those hormones, working with sugar metabolism, mineral assimilation, and so forth. So they kind of work as a duo. And juniper berries are the perfect tonic for both of them. They also work on the endocrine system because they're berries. And berries in nature, meaning if you eat blueberries, if you have strawberries and so forth, they strengthen your endocrine system. So your pituitary, your thyroid, your adrenals, all of those mechanisms that help to regulate hormones and tell the body what to do. And they're also wonderful for the nervous system. So if you have an herb that's a berry, that means that herb, like chase tree berry, so there are many different herbs that have that berry component that are berry based. They work really well on the endocrine and nervous systems. So for me, juniper berries are basically this 2-in-1 helpers. They help the kidneys and adrenals, and they also help the thyroid and the nervous system and so forth. So you have this incredible synergistic way that they work. So what's the best way to consume juniper berries? Well, you can do so with tea, or you can have a tincture. So twice a day of juniper berry tincture will be perfect to get those kidneys eliminating and for your endocrine system to strengthen. And finally, my bonus herb is ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is an Indian root, and it's an herb that helps to support the endocrine system. Ashwagandha is known to help the body process stress better. So it helps to strengthen the stress response, meaning it's wonderful for the adrenals. It gives the adrenals the ability to handle that external stress. So when we have ashwagandha, we balance out our way of processing external stimulation. And it's also really good for the nervous system. So the endocrine and the nervous system work together. And the seat of both are the adrenal glands. So the adrenals handle a lot of, the functions of the endocrine system, especially, hormone production, sex hormones, sugar metabolism, mineral utilization, so many different things. And then you have the nervous system aspect of it. It also handles how our autonomic nervous system functions. So we have to go after those adrenal glands, and one of the best herbs to do so is ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is also a wonderful herb for hormones. So if your hormones are out of balance, it is a good herb to keep in your arsenal of helpers. So if you're going through this journey of eczema and it is difficult, and you would like an herb to help you with those emotions, with that frustration, with that inability to cope, that is one of the best herbs to have. So it's going to help you emotionally, but it's also going to help you internally to keep that inflammation down. So I hope this overview of my favorite herbs for eczema was very helpful. And if it was, please let me know in the comments. I love to get them. I like to read all of them and I will respond. So if you would like to learn more about how to heal eczema for good and what it takes to heal naturally, I have a free course that you can access through my free community. So if you're still confused on this journey, you have conflicting ideas what eczema is, you've listened to different videos, many different people, dermatologists, and there's just so much information and it doesn't make a lot of sense. If you would like a different kind of perspective on what eczema is, I really recommend this free course. It will open up your eyes to what eczema actually is, why it's not just a physical issue, it's a mental and emotional issue, and what you can do to help reverse it for good. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to think this is a lifetime sentence. It is not. You just have to do the right things consecutively and commit to the process. So I hope this video was inspirational, and I will see you very soon.